Happy Monday, everybody. We are back with another episode of the Pod of Aggieland, starring your host, yours truly, Chase Lane, number two in the field, number one in y'all's hearts. We had a pretty eventful weekend of college football, from upsets to wild endings and just this and there and all that. But let's get right into it, man. Clemson, they came out and um, beat Wake Forest in double overtime. Uh, to be honest, I'm not sure if I'm totally sold on Clemson. Just I feel like those teams now that they're having this aren't the same teams that they've had in years prior. And Wake Forest, their quarterback actually surprised me a lot. He's actually a really good ball player. And Wake Forest's team as a whole surprised me a lot because even though I have had doubts about Clemson's team, they came out to play, and I still expected Clemson to come out on top, but I didn't think it would take that drastic of an ending. But kudos to Wake Forest, man, for coming out and at least putting the rest of the country and more specifically the ACC on notice. And I feel like their program is definitely heading in the right direction. Clemson was ranked number 5, I feel like, so, and Wake Forest is number 25. So I feel that was a good competition for both teams, and I think it's cool to see that Clemson came out on top. Tennessee over Florida. I don't know if I'm sold on Tennessee yet, man. Like, I know that Josh Heupel, he's a good head coach, and he had a lot of success at UCF. But I guess he's really just I'm trying to change the culture there and change the narrative down there in Knoxville. And he had his guys ready to play, man. Because Florida's not a joke team, and Florida's a really competitive team coming out of the SEC East. So um, I really like seeing those two teams go up against each other really early in the SEC schedule. And Tennessee, they got the job done. I feel like that's playing at home was a big factor in that because at full capacity, we were able to play down there in 2020 during the COVID season, and even with 25% capacity, you could really feel their fans. So I've never had the chance to play there at 100% capacity. So I bet that was a noisy and hectic environment for Florida to be in. But Tennessee got the dub, and I think they did so in a comfortable fashion. Um, Oregon survived Washington State, man. Oregon, I don't know what their deal is. Um, it's just like I feel like I'm saying the same things, but I'm not necessarily sure if I'm sold on them. I feel like they have the talent and they have the scheme, but I feel like it's kind of hard when you don't really see a lot of the times when you have a first year like head coach at a new school and you have a transfer quarterback. So I feel like that combo goes hand in hand, and I feel like they're still trying to like find out who they are as a team, uh, as an offense, as a defense, and as everything as a whole. So hopefully they can get things right as Pac-12 ball keeps going on. But like I said, they have the talent, and I feel they have all the tools to be successful. Now it's just up to them to just mold that and fine tune that as the season goes on. Miami loses to Middle Tennessee at home. Uh, like I said, this weekend seemed to be just a big weekend of just wild endings and just upsets and everything. So I hate that now people are gonna be like, could we beat Miami when they were a top 10 team? And now people might be like, oh wow, like Miami wasn't a for real, that they weren't a serious team, and now they're trying to take away like that win from us. But um, that first year head coach, I can't really say anything too much about them losing to Middle Tennessee because we lost to App State at home as well. So I don't want to like talk trash about it or make jokes about it, but that just goes to show that you really and truly have to respect your opponent no matter who you're facing, no matter what conference they're coming from, no matter what conference you're in. You got to come out to play each and every week, and I think we were a prime example in that. And I think that Miami and Middle Tennessee, they're a prime example of that because I even went back and watched those highlights when we got off the plane last night. And Middle Tennessee, they came ready to play, like off rip, like did not care about what Miami was, who Miami was, or where they were playing. the history about Miami, and they came ready to play. So kudos to Middle Tennessee for walking out of there with a dub in Miami, and they probably got some bread to play them too. But yeah, moving on to us. If you guys were able to watch, we how do I put this? We escaped with the victory out of Cowboy Stadium, I believe. 23-21 final. Um, yeah, and I can't wait to get into those details. But as usual, I'm going to take y'all through just the day by day. So this is our first quote unquote away game. I say quote unquote because it was a neutral site, so both teams were technically away. But yeah, so I love traveling. It's actually my first time um, getting able to come to this game in Cowboy Stadium because my freshman year in 2019, I redshirted, so I wasn't traveling for away games. My sophomore year, my redshirt freshman year, it was the COVID season, so we played them in Kyle Field. And then last year for this game, I had a concussion, so I didn't get to travel. So this is my first time actually traveling with the team and playing with the team against Arkansas in Cowboy Stadium, and that was a really fun environment for me. Uh, just because just playing in a stadium like AT&T Stadium and playing in Jerry's World, like I talked about in last week's episodes, but I have so much family in the Dallas Fort Worth area. I was born in Fort Worth. Um, I grew up in Mansfield before I moved to Houston. Mansfield, if you're not sure where Mansfield is, just south of Dallas, so Mansfield, Grand Prairie area. My aunts and uncles, they live in Mansfield. My grandma lives in Grand Prairie, so I'm very familiar with the Dallas Fort Worth area. So yeah, so just traveling. So we practice on Thursday, and we kind of have like a shorter, like fine tuning kind of day on Thursdays, and then we finish up around like 7:45 p.m. And then for this game, actually, instead of hopping on the plane, since it's so close, we actually take a bus. We take charter buses down there to Dallas for the game. We get a police escort the whole way. So instead of it being like a 3 hour and 30 minute drive, it turned into almost like a 2 hour and 15 minute drive. So it wasn't too bad. Guys were so tired from practice, so a lot of guys just fell asleep on the bus like me. So get to the hotel Thursday night. We got there around 11:45, 11:50, and you kind of have the rest of the night to yourself. Like me, a lot of guys just kind of just chill out in the room, watch Netflix, just chill out. Friday, uh, wake up. We didn't have to wake up until like 11, so guys slept in. Got some brunch downstairs from our nutritionist. Um, Guys who had study hall, I don't have study hall because I take care of my business and I'm in grad school. So, guys who have study hall, they had study hall in the morning and they had to knock out their academic necessities that they had to take care of. So, as guys are doing that, a lot of guys were just chilling. And our first required thing we had to be at wasn't until 1:15, and that was just special teams meetings and um, then we had position meetings with our position coaches, and then after that, we had a walkthrough in the parking lot, and it was so damn hot out there. But we got to do what we got to do. So we had our walkthrough in the parking lot, finished up around like 3:45, 3:50, and then we had like a little bit of downtime. So me and a couple of my teammates, we went up and played Madden 23 upstairs, and I was handing out some L's here and there. But that's not the point of this episode. But after that, we had dinner, and then after dinner, we have this thing called One Reel, like I've mentioned before, where we just go over our plays for the last time before on the game on Saturdays. And Coach, like I said, Coach Fisher's really, excuse me, Coach Fisher's really um, superstitious with like knowing your assignments and stuff. So we did that, and then after that, man, the night was ours. So we finished up around 6:45, and our curfew wasn't until 10:30. So what I did, I actually left and I actually went and had dinner with my grandma. She came and picked me up, and that was pretty cool. So me and my grandma, we went and had dinner. Just talking about life, talking about football, just just catching up with my grandma, and that was really fun for me. So I got to see some family before we went to war the next day, and then yeah, so going to the game, woke up Saturday morning. We had our usual team walk around the hotel, had some downtime. Then we came back down for our pregame meal, had some more downtime, and then we came back down for our chair drill. We go through the plays again, and then we got on the buses and and headed to the stadium. So, man, that feeling rolling into AT&T Stadium was so surreal for me because if you guys don't know, I'm a humongous Dallas Cowboys fan. So, getting the chance to just feel like I was a part of the Cowboys and be on the buses and then going underground and going out of the tunnel and going into the locker room, it was a really fun moment for me. And then walking that field for the first time, it was so crazy and just actually like I've been there for Cowboys games, obviously, but just being there as a player and just walking the turf and just you really get a feel for it as a player and just looking up around. It was amazing. And then pregame was different because um, we haven't had any games inside of a stadium yet. All of our games have been outdoors, so it took some adjusting. I feel like for everybody to just get used to the lighting in there, just get used to catching the ball in a closed arena. So um, that didn't take long for guys to adjust to. But yeah, so we had our normal pregame things as if we were doing it a home game, and yeah. So moving on to the first half. It seems like a reoccurring thing with us, man. But we started with a punt, a fumble, and a punt, and I can't really like pinpoint what is happening with us in these slow starts, but um, they have to stop, man. And I think that they're really gonna bite us in the ass. Excuse my language going forward if we don't fix it because in the SEC you can't afford to have slow starts because teams will start to capitalize on that. And and once you get behind the eight ball, it's hard to come back, especially in the SEC West. So, yeah, we had our three and outs, we had a fumble, we had a punt. Arkansas went up 14-0 early, and it was looking ugly for a little bit, man. I feel like a lot of guys were kind of like, like here we go, like what we gonna do, what we gonna do, like how we gonna respond. But yeah, we stayed the course. Um, I feel like once you get down so early, you forget how early it actually is, and just how you have to just continue to just keep playing the game and keep playing the game and just staying focused on the task at hand. But I don't think guys were necessarily worried when we got down 14-0, but it was more so just a frustration like on our part because like we had these penalties, man, and like they were all self-inflicted wounds. Like we would move the ball down the field, and then the play would come back because of a holding or an illegal motion or uh, a legal block. Like just bonehead mistakes on our part. But like I said, we got to clean those things up, especially going into these next few weeks because number one, we're on the road for the next couple of weeks, and the opponents we're playing are really quality opponents coming up. So, but then as usual, Devon Chain he gave us some life. We got the ball to start the second quarter. He busted it out with a 63-yard run. Kind of got the fans back into it a little bit. Kind of gave us some confidence as an offense, getting into some good field territory. Um, it was very important, I think, because we needed to respond, and I feel like that was a good start in order for us to respond. So yeah, we get down there, we get down there, and it's third down. I think we caught a little slot fade to the boundary with Evan Stewart and Devon Chain, and we had Chris Marshall and Nice Smith and Yoki Brown to the field. And I actually thought the ball was going to a Nice because of how the defense was playing there actually in the cover zero. So there wasn't any safety help. And Anais had a leverage on the nickel that was playing him because the nickel was playing him inside leverage. And Anais had a flag route, or in other words, a corner route to the back pylon in the end zone. And I really thought it was going to be touchdown to him, but they actually sent a blitz from the weak side, and so that's why Matt's kind of had to just throw the ball up and get it out of his hands early. And when he let the ball go, Evan was actually still like in his route, in the middle of his route. And luckily, the nickel that was playing Evan didn't see that because he still had his back turned to the ball, and then Evan just kind of stopped and just fell with the ball. And I didn't know who the ball was going to at first. I didn't know if it was going to Evan or if it was going to to Devon. And I just saw Evan come out with it, and that was really, I think it was big for all of us, but more so it was big for him because he's a Dallas area kid. He's from Frisco. He scored his first collegiate touchdown in Jerry's World in AT&T Stadium, so like it couldn't be written any better than that. So Kudos to my guy Evan Stewart for getting his first college touchdown in a game like that. I know what it feels like to get your first touchdown in a big game. So kudos to him um, for getting that and seeing his hard work come to fruition, but also just jumpstarting us into hopefully getting the ball rolling in the game. And luckily it did. So then coming back, man, Arkansas, they're moving the ball. We were playing a 3 down lineman. And I actually need to ask some of our defensive players as to why we're doing that because they were running the ball like really well in that game, and they were picking up the majority of their first downs and moving the chains, running the ball. And we stayed with the 3 down linemen, but they got down there into the red zone and the tight zone. They get down there at the 3 yard line, and then probably the craziest play I've ever seen with my own eyes happen. um, Number one, KJ Jefferson, Arkansas quarterback, he's a phenomenal player, and I feel like his game has really evolved since we've seen him last year. But um, made a mistake in reaching the ball out, trying to dive over the pile from the 3 yard line. I don't think that was a smart decision. But ball came out. Tariq Chappelle picked it up. I thought he was gonna take it to the house too, but I realized like, damn, like he kind of slow. But he got up, kind of got caught up by Arkansas pretty quickly. But he didn't like go down, and he was kind of just like chopping his feet, chopping his feet, chopping his feet. And then I saw Damani like peel off behind him, and then all of a sudden like Damani's sprinting, and I'm like, oh, like Damani got the ball. Then Damani, and Damani got speed, so Damani's just streaking down the sideline. And then I'm just like, bro, he's not gonna score. Like he's not about to score. Like this is not happening. And then um, everybody's going to the sideline. Like everybody was going crazy. And then like I feel like in that moment, even though that it didn't give us the lead, like we couldn't lose that game at that point. Like no matter what happened, like if anything crazy happened, like we knew we had to win that game. And man, just like I said before, like Damani's like my guy, bro, and just seeing him just have his first career touchdown, and he's a Dallas area kid too, from Waxahachie, and just having that moment, I know it was surreal for him, and that's going to be something that we will be talking about for years. The Tariq Chappelle handoff to Damani Richardson touchdown, and actually, we were talking about it on the plane after the game, and he told us that he was literally saying like, "Reed, give me the ball. Reed, give me the ball. Reed, give me the ball," and Reed just handed it off to him. And so, they just out there just playing backyard football at that point because you don't see that every day. So, that was probably one of the craziest moments, not only in Texas A&M football history, but in college football history. Period. So, um, I'm glad that I was able to be a part of that, and just witness that. And for all the fans that were able to witness, I know they'll never forget that moment either. Even though they still had the lead 14-13, I felt like we had the momentum going into halftime. And the message was to basically just come out and attack, man. Like hit them in the mouth. And Coach Fisher just kept on reiterating, like, man, like they're not better than y'all. They're not better than y'all. Like y'all just got to go out there and just do it. Like literally, like as simple as that. It wasn't like a long message. It wasn't just this long motivational speech. It was just to just go out there and just show us, not even show the people, but just like show ourselves that we can like win this game against a top 10 team and just really just continue to make our mark um, for the rest of our season. So um, even though the score wasn't as high as we wanted it to be, I feel like that was a program defining win in a way because from the adversity that we faced early on in the year with App State, and just having two teams back to back that are really good teams that we've had to play and beating them, I feel like it really helped towards our maturity as a team as a whole. So we came out in the second half with the ball. We opened with a 6 play, 70-yard touchdown drive to Devonta Chain. I feel like that was really big because, like I said, we've been having these slow starts, and to come out fresh out of halftime and with the ball back and score and get points on the board and take the lead for the first time in the game after being down 14-0, I feel that was a really big confidence boost for our team and for our offense especially. Then we come back and we have a 12-yard, excuse me. Then we come back and we have a 12-play drive. We only get a field goal out of it, but that uplifts the score to 23-14, so a little more breathing room. They get the ball to start in the fourth quarter with a big touchdown drive. They marched on the field, man, and they actually put together a good drive. So kudos to them. and make the score 23-21. Kind of getting nail biting from the sideline, and we're really just trying to just find out anyway how we can just win the game, man. We missed a field goal with 6 minutes left. At this point, I feel like I never want to say that we're nervous, but like I've always been an honest guy, and I feel like you're in that environment. It's a rivalry game. They're making the comeback. It's going back and forth. You're not really sure what's gonna happen. 'Cause, it's cross football. Anything can happen. So I feel like as a team, guys are just kind of like just kind of on edge, kind of anxious. They really try not to be the person who's going to mess up and make that bonehead mistake or make that penalty and everybody's really just trying to focus in on that assignment. So I don't want to say it was nerves, but it was more some just anxiety to just make sure that we continue to do everything we could in order to win the game. And then they get the ball back. They put together a really good drive, and it was not looking good for us, like for real. Um, Kendrick Jefferson was making plays with his legs. They were racking up first downs. They got down to the red zone, and it was like 3 minutes or 2 minutes left in the game, and their fans were going crazy. And I'm like, dang, like, we really just fumbled this one. Like it's over. Like at that point, I was like, it's over. Like we lost. Like we fumbled. They got us 2 years in a row, and I think guys were really starting to just be like, damn, we lost it. But yeah, they were running the clock down. I feel like we should have caught a timeout earlier than we did, just because, just to not only just so they can just run down the clock, but I feel like just so they could think twice about what they're going to do and just ice their kicker a little more. But yeah, man, they send the field goal unit out there, and another crazy play in college football. I don't think I've ever seen the way it happened, but the ball hits the left upright. It's on the way, and it looks good, like, off rip. It looks good. Like, so I'm like, "Dang, we gotta go there and try to score with a minute and 40 seconds left in the game." But they kick the ball, it looks good. I'm just like, "Dang, like, okay, let's see if we can put the drive together." And at that point, yeah, I forgot to mention Anais Smith, my guy, he gets hurt with a crazy injury that you never want to see, man. I know I'm sidetracking, but just want to say prayers up to him and just a speedy and just healthy and safe recovery, man. But spirits were low at that point just because Anais had gotten hurt, and you never want to see one of your main guys go down like that. But field goes up, like I said, man, hits the left upright, and it's just kind of hanging in the air, and then it falls down, and then like we're waiting for like the refs to say like it's no good, it's no good, but they were kind of just like looking at each other, and we're looking at the big screen, we're looking at them, we're looking at the big screen, we're looking at them, and then we're on the side like it's no good, it's no good, and then we hear our fans start cheering, and then they finally go like that, and then everybody was like, "Yo, bro, like that really just happened." So, um, the football gods were definitely on the Texas A&M Aggie side that night, and like Coach Fisher says, we were able to do the best play in football, which is take a knee. And like I said in the beginning of this episode, we escaped out of Arlington with the W. And just everything after that, like I said, being a huge Dallas Cowboys fan like I am, getting to be holding the trophy with my teammates. Jerry Jones actually shook my hand. So that was a surreal moment, just like I said, just being a Cowboys fan and being on the big screen when we were holding the trophy up and having all my family. I had like 8 family members there, and I wish I could have had more, but we only get so many tickets. So I was just trying to just get any tickets I could just to have any of my family from Dallas be able to make the game. But yeah. Oh, also, my mom's parents, my Mimi and Papa on my mom's side, they were able to see me play my first college game ever, so that was a fun moment for me, and just seeing them in the stands and seeing my mom and my grandparents have on their Chase Lane merch. Also, by the way, go get your Chase Lane merch. Just dropped again at the warehouse. Sorry, but I had to say that for marketing purposes. But yeah, just having my grandparents there, man, and just having my mom and my dad there, and my grandma on my dad's side there, and everybody. It was a fun moment for me, and yeah, I really enjoyed it, and just the celebrations as always after the game are top tier in our locker room, and just enjoying that win with my teammates. It was a great moment for all of us. Yeah, so moving on, post game, going back, we actually had after an away game, we head straight to the airport. Like after we talked to our families in a little bit, we load the buses, head straight to the nearest airport. So we were obviously flying out of DFW Airport. Went through TSA, man, and we were back. Um, that flight was only like 35, 40 minutes, so that was lovely. I was sitting in first class with a couple of my other teammates, so had some nice space. Really enjoyed that. But the landing was awful though. I don't know who our pilot was, but the worst landings, like I'm different, so I don't like taking off because it's weird, and I already have a fear of planes. So I'm not a fan of taking off because I just feel like, oh, like we got a lot of big guys on the plane. Like, are we gonna be able to get off the ground? We got all this luggage in here, and I just hate just taking off. But um, I feel like just as much as I hate taking off, I hate when you're about to land and you're asleep, and then all of a sudden you just like feel like the ground. So I remember I was asleep, and I was sitting next to Trey Zoom. He's a big offensive lineman. And all of a sudden, I just wake up to like a boom, and then we're hitting the ground, and like we have a bad landing. The pilot tries to like hit the brakes all hard and stuff, and you're like thrusting forward. So it's still, I remember all I remember is I remember waking up, we hit the ground hard as hell, and then like I latched on to Trey Zoom like next to me, like I had my arms like wrapped around his bicep. And I was just like latched onto him all hard. And like I mean, I know him, but like me and him aren't like we're not like close like that. So he was kind of looking at me like, what the hell? And so that was funny, man. And I was like still half asleep, and then like kind of like when the plane slowed down, I noticed I was still like latched onto him, and I was kind of embarrassed. And so I kind of got off of him and tried to act like I was still cool and I was still manly and stuff. And I was just like, my bad, man. And he was just like, oh, you good, you good. And so I felt like that was pretty funny. But yeah, successful first road trip in the books for us. We moved to 3-1 in the season. We went up in the AP poll to number 17 in the country. Still feel like we should be a little higher, but it all comes with times, and we just got to continue to just come out here and just win every week. And like I said, even though it wasn't the way we wanted to win, a win's a win. So I would much rather be sitting here talking about an ugly win than a almost kind of loss. So yeah, so going forward, we got Mississippi State, another rowdy environment with those cowbells, and I'll be looking forward to getting into more of that on Thursday's episode. So make sure y'all get y'all seasons passes, and so y'all can hear about Mississippi State's week of preparation. So this has been another fun episode of the Pod of Aggieland, starring your host Chase Lane, and I'm out. Peace.
Yeah, this is perfect.